Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Defenders Live. I'm your host, Laura Thorson. Tonight, I have one of my favorite guests of all time back on the show, Christian Griffith. This has been a 2-year wait to get a follow-up interview with him. And Christian is one of my favorite people in the world because he is one of the most honest humans that I've ever had on the show. And he's a living example of what it looks like to keep moving when life gets heavy. And so you may remember him as a top finisher from the Selection Special Operations Experiment, but that's only a slice of his story. He is the founder of Run to Heal, and he completed an over 3,000-mile run from New York to San Francisco in order to raise awareness and funding to prevent and treat child abuse. So tonight, 2 years later, I'm having him back on the show to get an update from him, what healing looks like 2 years later, and how to build real resilience that you can use in your everyday life. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed, whether you're watching on Rumble or YouTube or listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you find this show. If you don't want to miss another episode, head to defenders-live.com and become a free subscriber. That way, every new episode gets delivered straight to your inbox. And if you're looking for top-tier firearms and self-defense training, go to defenders-usa.com and check the calendar to see what's coming to your area this year. Okay, I have to tell the audience this because you reached out to me like a few months ago out of the blue. I hadn't heard from you since the interview we did last time. And it was just a really casual, like, hey, hope you're doing well kind of a reach out. To which I was like completely dumbfounded that you even remembered who I was to begin with, honestly. What was that about? What prompted that?
Man, I don't know. So many things are happening in my life right now that seem spontaneous and powerful and huge, and literally like around every corner, boom, boom, boom.
Oh, yeah, I know that feeling.
It's firing everywhere, and I don't know. I think that I saw your as I like right now. I'll turn 56 this year, and I've seen just a lot of things on social media. I'm in a group from my high school, and I'm seeing a lot of people that are passing. Mm-hmm. And with everyone that passes, I just feel like a little piece of me is taken away. Like, man, I remember that dude. I had some interesting interactions with him. I should have kept up with him. Or maybe it's drugs and alcohol, and you're like, oh my gosh, like kind of had an idea that was going on with that person. I should have reached out. Like, I'm better than that. Like, I should have, when I noticed something was amiss, I shouldn't have just been like, oh, well, they'll figure it out. I should have reached out. And, I believe myself to be someone who wants to be involved in people's lives, who actually truly loves people and experiences. So when I feel like I've failed in that metric, it bothers me. And when I saw your name, I think it was Facebook. It might have been in Facebook Messenger. I was searching for something else, and your name came up. And I was like, man, I really enjoyed my interview with her. Our first interview, you had a man that was
Adam.
part of all that, and he was incredibly kind, very complimentary. And I just remember the whole experience as being very positive. And I have a friend of mine who is 30-year Green Beret who just retired recently, and probably one of the most interesting men I know. He's a mentor of mine. He started a mezcal brand out of nowhere, and I thought he'd be perfect for your show. So I remember wanting to tell you about Sean as well, and we can talk about that offline if you want when we're done.
Yeah, I would.
You're always looking for ideas, and this is a great one.
Yeah, that's a great one for sure. He would be a great fit for the show as well.
Oh, and for a number of reasons. I mean, you'll love him. He's like, now that he's out, he's got long hair. He looks like a surf punk.
Yeah.
He created a mezcal brand, but the dude is like, unbelievable.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but your show really resonated with my audience. I had so many people reach out to me and just like were blown away by your vulnerability and your humility and your honesty during that episode. And so much, in fact, that I can't remember exactly when it was, but I think it might have been last year. I reran the episode again because that interview that we did together was just so profound to me. It affected me deeply, and it definitely affected my audience. And just something happened during that interview. I don't know what it was. I think that I just got really curious about you, and you just kept spilling the beans. You know what I mean? And it just like became this moment. And I just wasn't used to people doing that on camera. And you were just such a great example. You inspired me to pursue being more myself, in real life and on my show, to be the same person in both places. And that has, the fruits of that have been amazing. I mean, a lot of opportunities have come my way that I'm not sure would have otherwise, just because I have also learned how to feel more comfortable in my own skin and just be okay with who I am, and know that like, I have gifts just like you do. They're not the same gifts, and like to fully own those, along with all the flaws.
That is,
you've inspired me to do that.
That's fantastic to hear. I mean, obviously it makes me feel good that you say I inspired you to do that, but I think also you'll have to admit that sure makes life a hell of a lot easier, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Not having to have 2 or 3 or 4 different yous.
Yeah.
Like just being the one you.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier, and to hell with anybody that doesn't.
There's such a freedom in it.
Tremendous freedom.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've learned. And also I want to say one more thing before we like go in the weeds deep with you. There's so many things I wanted to say to you, but I wanted to say them to you while we were recording so the audience could also hear it. So another way that you inspire me that you don't know is that you in some ways lived in my head during a run that I was a part of. So I want to tell you the story if you'll humor me on this, okay? Because this is a big deal to me. This is like my 3,000 mile run, right? But it was only 10 miles, okay? But it might as well have been 3,000 to me, because in my entire life, I'm in my mid 40s now. I think before this run, I'd only ever run like 3 miles tops, maybe 4. And my sister's a marathon runner, and I've always thought she was crazy. I never understood why she liked to run long distance. But she came to visit me. I don't know how, was this last year? I think it was last year. And I had been on my own fitness journey. And I always kind of wanted to understand. And that was part of my curiosity with you, is like, how do people do that? Like, how can they just keep going, keep running? Like, what is that? I'd never experienced that fully myself before. And my sister was training for a half marathon. And she told me the next morning she was going to get up at 5 a.m. and she was going to run 10 miles. And she said, "You're welcome to come with me if you want. You don't have to run 10 miles. You can just run a couple and go home, or whatever you want to do. No big deal." And I thought, well, I'm pretty much in like decent shape. I don't run a lot, but I'm in pretty good shape, probably better shape than I have been in a long time. And I just thought, you know what? I don't get to see my sister very often. And if I don't do this, I think I'll regret it, just because something in me just pulled me to this opportunity to spend time with her in that way and to understand like her better somehow. Do you know what I mean? It was more than about that than it was about the run. And so, and one thing you need to know about my sister is like, she is a cheerleader for everyone. She's a very spiritual woman, and she's just always a cheerleader for anyone and everyone. And so a really good supporter to have next to you while you're doing something hard, right? And, we started running, and at a pretty good clip, faster clip than what I would want to run. And by the time we got to mile 4, I was like euphoric. Like I was feeling like I was flying. Like I just felt like the best ever. You know what I mean? By the time I hit like mile 5, mile 6, reality started hitting, and things started hurting that have never hurt before. And it was a really weird thing for me, because I'd never run long enough for anything to hurt before. So that was a new experience for me. And then that at that time, I just decided I was just curious enough to keep going just to see what happened. Because it was like, at this point, I felt like I was running my own self-experiment just to see, right? And what I found really interesting about the whole run, as a whole, what was symbolic about it, and I'm sure you can relate to this, obviously, was that the highs were so high and the lows were so low. Like, there were moments where all I could do was just put one foot in front of the other, or all I could do was just look at the next fence post and just get to the next fence post. And that was all I could think about in that moment. I couldn't think about the full stretch. And that was the only way I got myself through it, along with her, because she was with me the whole time. It was just like, I was thinking of you when things got hard, and I just looked at the next fence post and the next fence post. You know what I mean? I was thinking about, and I know it's nothing the same as what you went through on the selection, but there was just a piece of me that felt like I could relate to that. Of like, no matter what I do, I've made up my mind. I have made up my mind that no matter what happens, I'm not stopping. And I just kept going. And, when I got to the end of the run, the pain had moved to various places in my body all throughout the run. And then for like the next 2 days, I walked like, a 90-year-old woman, because my body wasn't used to that.
Sitting on the toilet becomes challenging.
Yeah, but I just want to thank you, because you don't know that you were on that run with me, but you were. And after I got done with that run, Christian, I had felt like I had proven to myself there was literally nothing I couldn't do if I set my mind to it. And ever since then, I have always just felt that. It was some kind of a proving ground that I had done for myself with her help, with my sister's help. And that was a huge part of it too. It was a great experience to do that with her.
I think it's even more than that. It's simple, but I think that it's also growth. I think that as we get older, we just don't grow as much as we did when we were kids. And when you put yourself through something that's really hard, it's new, it's hard, you put your mind, you put your body through something you're not used to doing, and you came through it through the various tools that you develop, pole-to-pole running. For me, sometimes I'll do something as stupidly simple as just smile. Just force a smile. Just force a big goofy smile. And for whatever reason, that releases endorphins, and you kind of like it brings everything to reality. Like everything looks hard. You're like, oh, my feet, oh, my legs, oh, my knees, oh, I can't breathe. Oh, what is this weird like cramp I'm getting that comes and goes? And then but when you put this big smile on, you're kind of like, it's just stuff. It's just temporary. What am I doing? I'm like creating all this drama around me because, this is so hard and I want to feel how hard it is. But then when you put that big smile on, it just kind of like minimizes that.
Puts it in perspective.
Yeah. And you just learn to do those little things. And you learned, you became stronger and more educated about yourself. I think that's amazing. I love when people tell me stories like that. I love hearing people, when I was on the selection, one of my favorite lines that one of the cadre used or one of the instructors used was, everyone wants to be on top of the mountain, but nobody wants to run up.
Yeah.
And I thought that was always a really great line, because it's true. It's like it's not the top of the mountain where you feel and where you learn the most.
Right.
It's that journey of getting there, just like it's not the training that builds muscles. It's the rest and recovery that builds. And great story, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. That's super cool. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for getting 10 miles in, dude. That's a chunk.
That was my 3,000, but and ever since then, like I told you, something just shifted in me that day, for the better. Because I was like, man, I have looked at this task my entire life as totally impossible, absolutely impossible. And then, when I got 5 miles into it, I could have been like, hey, could you give me a ride home? But I didn't. Right. I just kept going because I thought, I'm not going to die. I'm probably not going to die. And so, I'll live through this but there were times I wanted to, yeah, it's so crazy. The negotiation that starts, the conversation I was having with myself. It felt like all of the demons in my head that wanted to just like attack me. And I was just like, there was something in me that was just fighting them off left and right, being like, no, not today. Nope. I'm doing this no matter what. You can't stop me. And that's a good feeling. But it's funny that I bring that up today, Christian, because, okay, one last thing I want to tell you. There's so many things. Today happens to be one of the worst days I've had for so long. And for various reasons. But I have been looking forward to this interview, and it's so funny that this interview happens to fall on today because it's been one of my lowest days. And I swear there are no coincidences. I happened to see your post. I think you posted it today where you were talking about, it's funny that I ran 3,000 miles and now I'm running 1 mile in 13 minutes or something. And whatever that post was. And I was like, I'm sitting over here having the worst day, not being able to be consistent this week, working out, just like total mental, like mud, just feeling so like defeated. And I saw that post and I was like, dang, like if Christian can go and run a mile and post this 13-minute mile, and I'm over here feeling sorry for myself, like I can at least walk a mile on the treadmill right now. I can at least do that. I can. And
that's probably faster than 13:46.
No, it wasn't. I was just walking. But that's why I put this shirt on today, because one of my mantras is put your shoes on, because when things are really, really, really hard for me, especially in the beginning when I was just starting working out, the only thing I could think of to even get started was at least just put your shoes on, put your workout clothes on, put your shoes on, and then you're going to be ready to go. Like the next thing you'll have to do is go do something, right? And so that's what I did. I literally was lacing my shoes downstairs to get on the treadmill. I was thinking about that post that you posted, like, put your shoes on. And I was talking to myself saying that. And that was my win for today. That was it. That's all that I did was walk a mile. But at least I did that, you know.
Do you understand why I posted that?
No, why?
So about 2 weeks ago, I was in the Mayo Clinic with pneumonia and bronchitis that I had for about 3 weeks and didn't know it.
Oh my gosh.
I finally had gotten to a point where I couldn't breathe. So like what my significant other says is that, you know, I just push myself and I push myself and I push myself. And when I feel things coming on, I just am like, and I just go through them instead of being like, oh, maybe I'll back off a little bit and chill out. And then what happens is I don't have any like medium nothing. It's like I go and then boom, I'm wrecked. Yeah. And so I woke up a couple of weeks ago, Saturday morning, and I literally could not breathe after about 2 months of having a pretty significant cough. But the problem was the Mayo Clinic couldn't figure out what was wrong. They did every virus test. They even took blood cultures and tried to grow common bacteria that tend to, you know, have these kind of symptoms. They tried to grow that bacteria out of my blood. Didn't exist. And the only thing that did ever show up for them is after 4 days in the hospital, I got MRSA. So it's like MRSA is a bacterial infection that people get in hospitals.
Oh, great.
It's like that was the only thing. So it's like not only could they not figure out what was wrong with me, they gave me a nice parting gift. So they basically said, the doctors basically said, I mean, they put me in the pulmonary care unit. Wow. And pulmonary was like, he's got nothing wrong. His lungs are super clear. And cardiology, his heart is awesome. He's good there. And then basically the general docs were like, they're like, you can stay here and we can observe you at $1,000 an hour, or you can go home where you're more comfortable. And if anything else gets worse, come back. Like they literally could not figure out what was wrong with me again. Right. This is like what happened to me, you know, in 2012. And I'm like, I don't know what my deal is with like stumping the docks, but but what it did is it left me with this weird situation where just off and on, my lungs will inflame to a level where I can barely breathe and I'll cough. I don't know if you noticed, but a couple of times I put myself on mute while you were talking so that I could cough. When I went out and ran that mile today, it was the farthest I could go since I got out of the hospital before I just start going to some ridiculously crazy coughing fit, right?
Wow.
And I'm unable to breathe and I have to lay down. And even if I get in the hot tub to try to recover, the pressure of the water against my abdomen, I get like it's like it's hard to breathe against that pressure.
Wow.
So I basically was kicked back to square one again. So I'm now fighting my way back, and I'm gonna, but I'm and it's a little harder at 55 years old, but I'm gonna fight back to better than where I was before. And it's funny that you say nothing happens by accident. I think it's the same thing. I think we were destined to talk today. I think a lot of the things that you brought up in that talk about the 10 miler, you brought up in having a low day today, even though you haven't necessarily, given examples of what those are. I can hear it in your voice, dude. You're like inches from crying. And I can understand that because I have many of those same feelings today as well. And I think it's probably going to be pretty powerful for both of us to have a conversation. And others can witness our whatever we are doing.
Well, we're a mess. That's the truth. We're humans and we're a mess and we're trying to figure stuff out. And I think that the cool thing about running into people that are like-minded, who have good hearts, who are just trying their best is like, for me, is feeding off of each other, gaining inspiration from one another. For me, it's like remembering who I am, sometimes I forget who I am. I forget the power that I have. And I say my power comes from God. And sometimes I have to remember I'm a child of God. I'm not just some schmuck out there that has no purpose and there's no meaning to my life. Like, to me, it's like, there's purpose, there's mission. I have things I need to do. I can't stay down forever, but I also have to be honest and actually feel those lows when they come. Like, I can't just smooth them over because they will come back to haunt me if I don't actually face them. That's what I've learned.
And I love that statement. Again, you just queued up, I don't know how much you want to talk about.
Talk about whatever you want.
But, obviously I told you that, over the last maybe week, I've allowed Jesus Christ into my life, which is even awkward for me to even say out loud, right?
The last week, Christian?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God. I don't even. When I saw that message, I literally I felt I could levitate. My heart started pounding so hard. I wanted to scream to my husband and everybody in my household and be like, you will never guess what I just saw, what Christian just wrote to me, because I, for sure, and one friend that I know for sure, and probably others who watch that show, have been praying for you ever since you have been on the show. Like, regularly, not just kind of, I mean, I can speak for myself on that anyway. Like, you have been in my heart ever since that show. Like, I just can't even. So tell me about that. I want to hear I know you said it sounds kind of funny or coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, I'm still not used to it. And
what did that look like?
I wrote my first story about it on social media.
I'm sorry? I didn't see the story. Tell me about it.
Well, I just wrote I live right next door to a Catholic church a whole Catholic school, actually, the whole campus. Basically, the 2 blocks, every day they block off cops, everything, because the kids play in the streets and stuff, because it's a city school here at the beach. But at the rectory, you know what a rectory is, but it's like where a priest lives on a Catholic campus. There's a fountain there with the Mother Mary on it, and it's just a really cool fountain. And even before I was willing to, I don't even know how the right words to put it. I'm so new to the club.
It's all right. There's no right or wrong way.
But as soon as I felt that I could officially say that I believe that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, right? That's been a really difficult thing for me to ever believe my entire life. It's been incredibly frustrating for me because I have so many friends in faith that have been working on me. And, you know, I've read every book under the sun, you name it, I've read it, everything, right? And I was getting so frustrated for the longest time because I'm like, this is not fair. Like, I admire the Christians in my life. I love that they can have this faith, this belief. And, you know, just a real quick story before the fountain. When I was on that deathbed in 2012, we talked about it before in the first show, so I won't go deep into that. But imagine being on Oxycontin, oxycodone, and having a Dilaudid pump so that you could just just ride the days away because you're about to die, and they're just making you comfortable. So imagine being asleep, waking up, and there's this little bald man's face in my eyeballs with little wire rim glasses, and he says, "Hi, I'm Dusty." And I think I'm dreaming. I'm like, "Who are you?" He was the he was the preacher at my ex-wife's church. I used to go to the Church of Christ with my family. Mm-hmm. Everyone knew I wasn't a believer, but I went because I wanted to be part with my family. And, you know, I would never consider myself a good God guy, but I felt like I was pretty good at service. Mm-hmm. So I would make coffee. I'd do crosswalk duty. So I knew everybody from crosswalk duty and drove my wife crazy at the time because she's like, "You're not even a believer and you're more popular at this church than I am." And, you know, but
score. That's what I want to know.
Huh?
I said, who's keeping score? That's what I want to know.
Fair. No, but there was a ruse in the church, and previous preacher was booted out, and this new guy, Dusty Rush, comes in. I had never even met him. So the first time he ever met me was literally when I was in the hospital.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, little 5'4" guy, you would never, ever pick this guy out in a lineup as a preacher. But he's a great preacher. Little country guy from Tennessee. He's like, "Hey, Christian, man, I'm telling you, you just got to believe." And he's just funny. And I just love the guy. And he's authentic as hell. And I just love characters. And this guy is a character, if there ever was one. Yeah. So we became friends in that instant. And, you know, he always kept up with me. He was never dogmatic. He was never sending me text messages about this or that or God this or God that. He just maintained a relationship with me. Very much like I've been taught by the people that I respect the most, that it's not about church, it's about a relationship.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how he functioned with me. He was a God guy, of course. He's a preacher, but our conversations were not always about God. They were just about being good dudes. Wanting to be good dudes or be better dudes, whether that was in our relationships or as dads or whatever. And we were having that same kind of banter a couple of weeks ago. And he said something to me that actually he got from something else, but he said, "Well, you know, you got to believe in something." Right? Like, I'm always like trying to put together like all these scenarios about how, you know, creation, or even the cliche of how could there be a God if there's child sexual abuse and you know, all the cliche shit, right? And I'm like, so you know, you got to understand, I'm constantly doing that in my head. So he says to me, "You know, you got to believe in something. Everybody has to believe in something." And as soon as he said that, I'm like immediately thinking of all these scenarios I come up with. And then he goes, "Why not believe in the most beautiful thing?" And I was like, and I think I told you last time when I was on the show, somebody said something to me once that blew me away. And it was, "I can always make more money, but I can never make more time." And that just smashed me in the face when someone said that to me, because that basically meant that the time, this hour and a half that I'm spending with you and you're spending with me, that's currency we're never going to get back.
Yeah.
If we lose a job or whatever, we just go get another job. Yeah. Right. But we can never get our time back. And that just really smashed me in the face. So when he said that to me about why not believe in the most beautiful thing, I was like, why not? Like it was just such a moment for me. It was like, dude, that's so much easier than me trying to come up with 30,000 different reasons why or how this could happen or whatever. Why not just believe that, hey, man, there's a deity out there that actually loves me. Mm-hmm. And it resonated with me for a really long time. And he makes a big joke because I went on Facebook Live because I was like, this is so weird for me that I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. Very much like what I wanted to tell you when you did that and you had that 10-mile experience and you felt like you learned a lot. My advice to you, and I didn't say it at the time, but I would tell you now, go find more of those. Because every single time that you do that, you're going to grow. You're going to become a different things are going to happen that now will create the new you, right? Yeah. And that was, for me, I was like, everybody knows that I'm not a believer. Everybody knows I'm a staunch agnostic, that I believe that, yes, there's probably a higher power, but we're too dumb to know what that looks like. That's basically what I thought. And so everybody's going to be shocked, but I need to step out of my comfort zone and I need to actually make this proclamation. And I did. But true to my style, when I'm telling the story about Dusty saying that to me, and then I looked at the camera and I went, damn you, Dusty Rush. Damn you, damn you, damn you. And not realizing what I said, and then his response to that was, only Christian Griffith can profess his faith and damn his preacher in the same moment. So I told him, I said, well, I undamned you yesterday. So you're cool, dude. You're all right. But that was a huge moment for me. And then I'm not sure how much you have seen me on social, but back in 2002, when my daughter was 3 years old, she and I used to go for walks before I would take her to Montessori on my beach cruiser. I had a little seat for her right here. And I pedaled to her to, quintessential beach lifestyle, right? Take your kid to school on a bike every morning. And before we did that, we would walk around the neighborhood, walk down the beach, whatever. Well, the Catholic church on that campus that I told you about, they had just opened a brand new church. It was beautiful. And we're just walking around and she takes my hand. She's like, Daddy, I want to go in there. And I'm like, well, it's a church, number one. I don't even know if it's open. And number two, I don't know if we can just go walk in there. But Kai being Kai, my little boy-headed daughter, right? Even at 3, she's me all day, right? So she's just not taking no for an answer. And she's pulling me to this church. So she's ahead of me and we walk in, she pulls the door and it's open. So I'm like, wow, 7:30 in the morning or something. She walks in, there's a huge stained glass at the end of the church. And there's a Jesus on a cross. And then in the stained glass are a bunch of angels around the Jesus on the cross statue thing. And she walks in, looks at it, raises her hand to Jesus. Boom.
Wow.
I'm floored. So I'm fiddling with my pockets trying to get my phone out, right? So I'm like, I need to capture this. Stays there for probably 45 seconds. No words, no nothing.
Wow.
Mom is Jewish. I'm agnostic. She's never been exposed to Jesus, nothing. She's never been in a church, never heard the name Jesus, knew nothing about God. We had no faith. We have no family that has faith. Nothing. There was no rational explanation for her to raise her hand to Jesus walking into a church for the first time in her entire life. I don't think I wanted to acknowledge that for what it was in the moment. I just thought it was kind of wow, right? So I took the picture. And I remember when I posted it, all my religious friends just fell out. I didn't never expect that response, but they were like, oh my God, dude, she's trying to bring you to Jesus, Christian. She's here to bring you to Jesus. And I'd be like, whatever. This was March 1st. The next day, March 2nd, she says to me when she gets out of school, I finished working, and at the time I had an office at the beach. I get back to the house. She's like, Daddy, can we go for a walk? Or can I go for a bike ride? And that means a walk where she's on her little bike, right? She's little. She's 3. Mm-hmm. She's 3. So I'm like, sure, cool, let's go. So we go right back to the church. She just beelines straight back for the church. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna control this. I'm gonna let her do what she wants to do. And in many ways, I'm extremely intrigued. You know what I mean? Because this is just weird. So we get to the church again. She gets off her little bike, parks it, grabs me by the hand, takes me into the church, immediately just walks in, stands at like the top of where all the pews are, walks down the aisle, takes me there, gets in the very first pew, sits down, pulls out a Bible, starts flipping through it. She's 3. She has no idea what she's doing. She gets up, walks over to I don't know if all Catholic churches have this, but at one side, there's a bunch of candles, and you can light a candle and you pray to Mary. You can go over to the other side, light a candle, pray to Joseph. Now, I don't know if I'm saying all that right. I'm not Catholic. I don't know the procedures.
I'm not Catholic either, so don't worry. Yeah.
But it exists there. And she got up, walked over to the Mother Mary, dropped to her knees, and started praying. This kid would have no
pray.
Huh?
She'd never seen you guys pray, I assume.
I've never prayed.
Wow.
Never. Mom is Jewish. Mom doesn't pray, and she's Jewish, but she's not temple Jewish. She identifies as Jewish, but she doesn't practice any Judaism. We do Hanukkah.
So what are you thinking while this is going on?
I'm just shocked, basically, not really knowing what to do. Now hold on. So after she does this with Mother Mary, she comes and sits back in the pew. People are starting to come into the church now. And we're like, whoa, what's happening? And like fast, like the church is filling up in a matter of like 10 minutes. It goes from us being in there, about 4 other people that were getting their prayer on. The way the Catholic church is, I guess, is their doors are always open. And there's people in there praying all the time, all spread out and just praying on whatever's going on in their life, I guess. But now all of a sudden the church is full. Now remember I told you the date. It's March 2nd. This ended up being what they call Ash Wednesday. Oh. We had no idea. So we're just sitting in those front pews. The place fills up. I'm just kind of like, oh shoot. I didn't mean for to like be here in the middle of like real church stuff. Mm-hmm. It was just Kai wandering around. Now all of a sudden there's like real things happening. The boys come down with their poles and they walk to the front, and then the priest comes down and he stands there, says a few words. Some ladies on a balcony singing the most beautiful a cappella thing you've ever seen. I have all this on video, by the way. Oh. Then in the most beautiful, when I'll send you the video, the most beautiful sounding voice ever. And then all of a sudden everybody gets up and starts standing in line. Well, Kai wants to do what everybody else is doing. She grabs my hand, stands in line. We're in the first pew, so we're like the first 4 people. Oh. And what he's doing is he's putting ashes on people's head. So Kai bends down, and he's seen Kai around the neighborhood because he walks. He's like a walker. So he's seen Kai just in the yard and me walking there to the beach and stuff. We've always been friendly with the priest, but he knows we're not Catholic. And all of a sudden, here we are on Ash Wednesday in line, and he kind of grinned at us, but he did the thing, Yeah. And then afterwards, Kai and I took a little selfie and posted on social. We're like, hey, we've just been ashed or whatever. And from that point forward, the craziest things would happen, dude. She would walk me down to that church, and she would walk in, and a light would come. Now, remember, you can believe me if you want, or I have content of all of it. She would walk in the church, and a light would go boom, right through the stained glass, boom, right on her. And then she would walk, and it would follow her.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you. I have it. I have it all. I have it on video. I have photos. Then she would walk to the front of where like the preacher would stand. It's up on kind of like a bi-level stage.
Mm-hmm.
She would walk up. She wouldn't walk up onto the stage. It's like she respected that pulpit area, but she would walk to the very bottom of it. They had another Jesus on the cross, and she would just stand there, boom.
Wow.
And just freeze. And it chokes me up because it's so beautiful. It was such a beautiful display that I wish my heart would have been more open at that time to really be able to witness what I was witnessing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't give it the power that it truly was presenting to me. Basically, I know it's not true, or I know that I believe that God or Jesus would not look at it this way, but I believe that I was very superficial with a gift that I was presented with. I did not give it some people go their whole life. Dusty, the preacher, he's like, I've gone my whole life and never had a moment like that.
Mm.
And he asked me after I was willing to, I let him know first. I said, Dusty, you were my catalyst, dude. It was you that for whatever reason, I had a moment in a day where I turned a corner and I felt Jesus in my heart. I felt the love in my heart. I felt so happy about that, because one thing I was never going to be able to do was just say it for the sake of saying it because people really wanted it for me.
Yeah.
Because not only can I not be inauthentic like that, I can't live a lie like that. I feel like I'm educated in faith enough to know that if you are going to believe in Jesus, you have to believe that Jesus knows everything. Mm-hmm. So if you're professing one thing with your tongue and it's not in your heart, he knows that. So what's the point?
Yeah, totally.
You know? And I was so happy to finally get it here.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
After I do.
And so then, but Dusty and I were talking. He said, hey, man, we're doing a new series at the church on salvation. And he said, would you mind if I use that picture that you had of Kai? I said, dude, I will do you one better. I will send you all of the content I have. And as I was sending him that content last Saturday, it was the first time I had seen it sort of in a chronological timeline story. It would be, in my opinion, as someone who, as people have tried to use stories and circumstances and you know, unbelievable things that God or Jesus have done or that faith has presented in people's lives. Even my story with the Latin radiologist that figured out my problem or I was going to die. This is undeniable. If you see this story in timeline and you see what this child met Jesus Christ at 5 p.m. March 1st and around that time, and she has loved Jesus ever since. And I have a video about maybe you
recognize him instantly. That's what's nuts about it.
Instantly. Yeah. And to this day, still loves Jesus undeniably, unquestionably, and even with a little bit of goofy character like I have, right? The other day, she has a little purse that she bought at a farmer's market. We're a 2-story house. I'm watching football. I'm just kind of half paying attention to her. She walks up the stairs. She takes this purse and a stick pin, and she sticks the purse to the roof of the first floor. Right? She goes up the stairs, reaches over the stairs to the first floor roof, and sticks this pin through this purse. And it's just, I said, "What are you doing?" And she goes, "Just wait, Daddy." She goes down the stairs. She goes and gets this. I find out later. I didn't know at the time, but she goes in her room and she gets this little Jesus figurine that the guy that owns V's Pizza down the street, who loves Kai, calls her Meatball Princess. He gave her this little Jesus figurine one day, and she loves it. And she puts Jesus in all kinds of different situations all the time. And so she goes up the stairs and she puts Jesus in the purse. But I don't know this at the time. I just see her fiddling around. And then she yells down at me while I'm watching football. And she goes, "Hey, Daddy, check it out." And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Jesus is hanging out." And I was like, "You clever little peen, dude. You're such a nut."
That's
like,
so awesome.
How crazy is that? And she does it all the time. She'll bring Jesus and put him on top of a soda can or something. And she'll be like, "I wanted Jesus to have this because it's better quality soda." It's crazy. And I was, for the longest time, not necessarily denying that, but I wasn't acknowledging it.
Yeah.
When I saw it played out in a timeline that I sent the preacher so that he could use it in his, and I'll send you that as well. He sent me then Sunday afternoon, he sent me, I guess they like record all of their Sunday services. And he sent that to me, and he said the church just ate it up. It was unbelievably powerful. And so I credit Kai, I credit all the people that have been working on me, and I credit basically like what you were talking about, resilience, never giving up, continuing to fight so that I could
continuing to seek, though. I don't think it's fighting. I think it's seeking. I mean, for me, coming to know the Lord was a letting go process. It was a revealing layers, letting go, seeking process. It was very humbling, and there wasn't this fight involved with it. It was actually the opposite. And that's why for me, coming to Christ has been a journey of freedom where I don't have to fight everything anymore.
Well, I think that was a huge apprehension of mine, because, I have been around drugs and alcohol my entire life. I've been abused by addicts and alcoholics my entire life. And nothing nauseated me more than seeing someone who did unbelievably atrocious things to me, and then all of a sudden, because they went to AA for 2 weeks, where you're carrying a cross down the sidewalk, it's like, whatever, dude. Like, I'm not buying it, and I'm not discounting people's faith that find Jesus as they're trying to recover.
Yeah.
Great. Good on them.
Yeah.
But it was very inauthentic to me. I just couldn't believe that someone could make that quick of an about. I don't know how you become a faithful Jesus guy after abusing children, years ago. And so that was really hard for me. And it made it so, it made it so I was never going to be willing to even consider it if I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So I became very intellectually educated on the dogma of religion, right? And everything you're supposed, you can't good yourself to heaven. It's all about, you just have to believe that Jesus died on the cross. I'm like, well, that's awfully convenient. So I can be the biggest shithead on earth, but as long as I believe,
God knows, like you said, that's the caveat, is that God truly knows. So it's not about what other people think about you. It is ultimately how he knows your heart. And I have no doubt in my mind that he knows your heart, and that you are true and honest about what you're speaking of. Whereas everybody else I hear, not all of them I believe. But does it matter if I believe them or not? No, it really doesn't, because I'm not the one who's going to judge them. But
absolutely. No, I feel exactly the same way.
But it's pretty disgusting to see people out in the world who have a claim to faith. And I mean, it's just like the Pharisees in the Bible. It's no different. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And it's all about the walk, which is really ironic that I just said that, and that's in the Bible too. But you were talking about the journey is really what it's about. It's the walk, and that's what the faith journey is about as well, right? I mean, I don't think that focusing on the destination of going to heaven is the way that Jesus wants to change our hearts and help us walk a path of righteousness to be more like him. It's not about, oh, we got a free pass to heaven now. It's about, how do I become a better person and get closer to him? That's what I'm like. That's what I personally care about. And that's what I'm seeking for myself. So,
and I would take it one step further. I would take it one step further and say that maybe in the past, I thought, well, if I could ever get there, it would be a great finish line. And unfortunately, now that I'm here, I don't feel a finish line at all. If anything, no. I feel more empowered to do more. Do I feel like I have enough chops to evangelize? Absolutely not. But I feel like, okay, now with this even additional power behind me, I can do even greater things. I think people say that a lot, right? Like through him or in him, yeah. I can be, or I can't remember what the line is, but
you get your strength from him. Yeah. Instead of
yourself. And I feel that now. I feel a level of lack of concern for what happens when I take chances, bigger chances. I want to take bigger chances with my life and my relationships. Mm-hmm. And I have little concern about what the outcome will be, because I know that my intentions are honorable and they're good. And I don't know how that can ever go wrong.
Mm-hmm. I'm so happy to hear all of this. If you've been listening to Defenders Live and something in you knows it's time to go deeper, not just in your training, but in your life, become a paid subscriber of Defenders Live. Each month we meet for a live group call, having real conversations about physical growth, emotional discipline, and spiritual strength. You'll be part of a growing community of people just like you, committed to becoming true defenders of life and of their families. This isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, doing the work, and not doing it alone. So go to defenders-live.com and become a paid subscriber and take your next step toward becoming the kind of defender this world desperately needs. I'm so happy to hear all of this.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I love Kai's role in all of it too. What a special story that you'll never forget.
Never forget. And now I look at my daughter so differently. Yeah. It's because now I've acknowledged that, and now I see a whole bunch of other things too that have gone on from the age
of hindsight. Yeah.
That have just, all sort of rolled up into this. And listeners, I am so sorry that I went on this whole Jesus crusade for however long we did it, but
no, I love it. It's great
for me right now. So
you can do that anytime you want.
It's hard tonight, damn it.
It's a wonderful story. I had no idea. And a lot of times I don't do a lot of research on people before they come on the show on purpose, because I want my reaction to be authentic. Like I haven't heard it before, and I like hearing things for the first time on the show along with everybody else. So even though you did mention that you came to faith, I did not realize it was that recent when you messaged me.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Talk about timing. Holy cow. That's crazy. Huh. Well, I don't really know how to top that. You've really made my day. I am in a totally different place mentally now than I was earlier today. And I think it's because when I do these interviews, I connect with people and my focus isn't on myself anymore. I think when I get in my own head, my own thoughts, there's like this selfish focus, and not in like, it's all about me, like in an arrogant way, but do you know what I mean? Where it's like, get in this like shame cave or whatever you want to call it, and then just ruminate in it. It's a horrible feeling. And so, you've pulled me out of that. I appreciate that very much.
Of course.
Yeah. So is that pretty much all for the updates since the last time? I know there's probably more, but that's the biggest one, I would imagine.
It is. If you were to, but I think when we decided that we were going to get together again, I hadn't gotten there yet. So,
right. So, neither of us knew this was going to happen.
Right. I did not expect that this would be the content that we would talk about. And I think some of the things that I wanted to, just catch you up on as well, would be, I just briefly touched on it when I called in before we got on the show.
Yeah.
But is my attention to to a fitness modality that I created called 5 Minute Fitness.
Okay.
Basically, it is, think of it, and I'm practicing every day to not get so wordy with it, but it's basically, there's two elements to it. It's basically either an on-ramp for people to get into fitness and then decide where they want to go from there. Or it's a methodology that you can basically do until the end of time, and you will still be, get this is science. This isn't me. I've done the work, I've done the science, done the research. If you commit to 35 minutes a week of strength training, you will be fitter and stronger and promoting better health span and longevity than 80% of your peers.
Wow. 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes a day, which is 35 minutes a week. There are no rest days because I want it to be a habit. I want you to create a habit. Excuse me. The initial program is 90 days. It's 90 days because they say, whoever they are, that it takes 60 days for something to become a habit. So I want 90 days to drill it into you. Also, it's very different than traditional training, especially strength training, as you might think about it. This is not hypertrophy training. This is not training to get big muscles. This is not bodybuilding training. This is strength training. This is training that is designed to make you suck less at life. Everything that we do is a functional movement that you do every single day. We squat, we deadlift, we press, we farmer's carry, we run, we walk, we get up off the ground.
Yeah.
However you want to define.
Also called a burpee.
Burpees is one. Turkish get up is another.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
Turkish get up's very technical, so I don't do that in the first 90 days of 5 Minute Fitness. But the idea is, and what really got me on this is that, obviously I'm big into fitness, and especially as an older individual. And I've noticed that, number one, what we consider to be older people not paying attention to their health and fitness, or even look at something like diabetes, that's getting younger and younger and younger. I'll be 56 this year. I have a 7-year-old daughter. So when I volunteer a lot at the school. When I volunteer there are other dads there that have kids Kai's age that are in their early 30s, some even in their late 20s, and they're a mess.
Really?
So now look at the 40 and over crowd. So many of the 40 and over crowd, and I know it because these are my peers, even the 50 and older crowd especially, they've already given up. They're like, oh, I've got this bad knee. Oh, there's just a million excuses, right? But at the end of the day, the number one reason that people fail in their endeavors of strength and fitness is consistency. It is the number one reason why they fail. And I don't blame them for that. When you think of current culture and how we've messed up the concept of strength and fitness in this world, I love capitalism. I love this country. I love capitalism. I believe in it till the end of time. But fitness as a component of capitalism means that you have to constantly evolve it so that you can make money. There has to be a new and improved, greatest thing, a new CrossFit, a new whatever that is the new latest and greatest thing. But at the end of the day, the very basics of health and wellness for general physical preparedness has never changed. And that is simply progressive overload, lift a little bit more than you did yesterday, and don't eat like an asshole.
Yeah, that's totally true. Right? Totally. Yes. It's so simple.
If you do those things and then throw in there adequate rest, right? That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, you can go, but what happens is we got people thinking that they need to buy weight belts and booty shorts and drive 15 minutes to a gym, pay for a membership, walk in there. You probably don't know what the hell you're doing if you don't have a trainer. Maybe you got the idea off the internet or a magazine or something. So now you're going to follow some program and may or may not work for you. Your expectations might be completely erroneous because you don't know the science. So you're 3 weeks into it and you're like, this isn't working. And it's much more easier to sit on the couch, eat Oreos, and watch Dr. Phil. Right? And that's what happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And the idea that we need to do all that we need to get in a car, go to a gym, be there for an hour, leave, shower, eat dinner, and that's just a lot. And in our lives right now, whether you're a parent, you're really into your career or professional, whatever, that is going to take second, third, fourth, fifth seat in your life.
Yeah.
But so my goal with 5 Minute Fitness was, because I want to help people. I want to help other people 40 and above to get stronger so that they can have better health span. Better longevity.
Yeah.
And then, of course, health span inside that longevity, meaning that the years that they are living longer are quality years.
Because you're increasing bone density, you're increasing muscle mass, you're getting body fat percentage down. Those three things alone are huge, right?
Mark Ripito, a famous strength coach in the athletic world, football world, strength, Olympians that are, snatch, clean, those style of weightlifting Olympians. He has one phrase that I just love and I repeat it all the time. And it's strength fixes everything. And it's true. If you focus on getting stronger, everything else in your life gets better.
It's true.
Your confidence gets better.
I'm a testament to that. Yeah.
Your mental well-being gets better. Your strength, it's not only your body strength, but your physical strength, because you have more confidence. You feel good about yourself. I love going to the beach at kid birthday parties, and I'm the dad that plays football with the kids, or that runs into the ocean with the kids, or pulls them all on boogie boards and surfboards, or in the pool, throws them to the deep end. I love being that dad that's not sitting up in a chair, drinking a beer, talking whatever they're talking, the same old small talk, blah, 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 to just get through the moment. I like to engage with the kids. I like to be their lives are much more fun. I want to live like that.
Yeah.
So that my goal with 5 Minute Fitness was to promote that lifestyle for everyone over 40 and to eliminate all the barriers that they believe are there that prevent them from getting there. And that is consistency. Yeah. If you say you don't have 5 minutes a day, then you're telling me you don't poop. Because it takes more people more than 5 minutes a lot of times to poop.
Yeah.
So you're going to tell me that you don't have 5 minutes a day. And so our protocol is every day you do one movement. Yesterday was press. You did 3 sets of press. You did them moderately heavy, whatever's heavy to you. It could be 2 cans of soup. I don't care. Go grab 2 cans of soup and press them overhead, right? I give you there's 3 levels to it. You can do our program without gear at all, right? All body weight or something around the house. You don't have to buy any gear at all. Level 2 is you buy gear and you load your movements. For instance, level 1, no gear. If it was squats, you do air squats and you do into a chair. You simply, all your reps are going to be to the chair, stand up, to the chair. Same thing with getting up off the ground. If you can't do burpees, which is a level 2 movement, your level 1 is to go just stand there, lower yourself to the ground however you need to, lay flat, and then get yourself up off the ground. You wouldn't believe it takes the average man, check this out, takes the average man who's 35 years or older, it takes the average man over 10 seconds to get up off the ground if somebody threw him there.
You're kidding me.
Got all these guys that want to fight in bars or all these, meatheads, this, that, whatever, they want to fight. If somebody ever jumped in your face and caused you, tried to get physical with you, don't bow up at them, just throw them on the ground and run away, get your family away, get away. It'll take them forever to get up, number 1. Number 2, if you're strong, you're going to rattle their brains when you throw them to the ground. They're going to think twice about coming after you. But it's just amazing. Think about it. Somebody falls on the ground, and they got to, put one leg up. They got to put a hand on their knee. They're like, oh, this is, if you don't train, if you don't have strength, if you don't know how to get up off the ground, that's foreign to you. So we train people to get up off the ground. We train people to squat. Again, if you poop, you squat. If you pick up groceries, you set groceries down and unlock the door, and then you got to bend down to pick them up, you deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting away the Christmas decorations in the closet and you put them up on the top shelf, you press.
Yeah.
You clean and then you press.
I heard a stat. It's something about most people over, I think it was 30, it could have been 40, but I think it was over the age of 30. Most people never sprint again after the age of 30. Have you heard that stat? Will never sprint again.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's funny you bring that up. I heard that recently. Sprinting is part of our protocol as well. And again, sprinting is wherever you're at with sprinting.
Yeah.
Right. So it's effort. It's not
right.
It's not a clock that you're judging against the people. It's you against you.
Right.
But the idea is to put forth that effort in short bursts as opposed to long drawn out type things. So when I launched 5 Minute Fitness, I went on Facebook and I just said, hey man, any of you out there, have any of you out there, been having trouble sort of getting back into fitness, or maybe you've never done fitness, or maybe you want to get back, but it just seems like, you don't know whether to do CrossFit or F45 or go to LA Fitness or get a personal trainer. And it just seems like just too much. So you just say, screw it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, I've launched a program that I believe to be incredibly effective. And I think I'm onto something. I did it all 2025.
Oh, you did? Okay.
So at this point, when I offered it up, I had done it for 8 months of 2025. So I offered it up in August of 2025. And I said I would do it with everybody, but I wanted a few beta testers before I actually went in, all in on this idea. So that I could see if it was efficacious for them as much as it had been for me. And I was just wanting like 12 people. I was fine with that. The day I offered it up there, 77 people said, yes, I want to do it.
Wow. By
day 30 of the 90-day program, I had about 353 people. And now today as we stand, this is just the Facebook group, by the way. Some people don't want to be on Facebook. So they do the program just on their own. They don't really engage with Facebook. But the Facebook group is for people that want like-minded individuals to share. It's a pretty vibrant group right now. It's a private group. I got to let you in. But
I'd love to be in that group.
Yeah, but now it's up to 736 people. Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah, and
it must be working then if people are just keep coming.
Well, I don't promote it anywhere. So the only way that group, Facebook group, grows is a member tells another person, hey, you should check this out. It's pretty easy to implement in your day. And so right now I'm doing it on Facebook Live with everybody.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So every day I do the movements of that day, because I noticed that like some people were getting confused sometimes about execution. Even though I gave them videos to watch, they might know how to execute it, but there's just little points of performance that I can give, right?
Cool.
But anyway, but that's just, again, like I said, that's just 736 people in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other people, because the web is public.
Yeah.
At train5minutes.com, there's a lot of people that are just going there and using the content. So
I want to look this up. So for those of you that are listening and not watching, it's train5minutes.com, and it's the number 5, not the word 5, train5minutes.com if you want to check it out.
Yeah. And it's basically now it was a 90-day beta program. At the end of the 90 days, I polled everybody, how do you think it worked for you and all this stuff. And it's interesting that I spent the entire time talking about we are training strength, speed, and power, because all of those things are the things that are going to equate you having a better, more functional life. If you train those items, those are going to be the things that make your life better, right?
Mhm.
Yes, if you want to look better on the beach and you want better biceps, go do curls, but it's not functional. You don't curl in your everyday life. You don't do tricep kickbacks in your everyday life, right?
It makes it look better though.
And if that's your thing,
Yeah.
I'm not hating. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, don't even try to do that
Mhm.
until you have a basic foundation of strength.
Right.
Let me
Totally.
give you a basic foundation of strength so
Mhm.
that you can make two decisions in your life. Yes, I like fitness. It's super cool. There's certain aspects I like of it more than others. So let me go deeper down that rabbit hole. Maybe you like bodybuilding. Maybe you like powerlifting. Maybe you
Mhm.
like obstacle course racing.
But
Maybe,
this is like the
whatever.
foundation for everything.
So it's the on-ramp.
Yeah.
Right? But what
Yeah.
happens is people walk into these fitness facilities without anything,
Yeah.
and they expect to be able to, especially CrossFit's the worst. It has them doing technical Olympic lifts within
Yeah.
2 weeks or even a week of them walking into the gym. It's absurd. And then what happens? They get hurt because they don't know how to execute the movement. Olympic weightlifters train for years and years and years to perfect that movement. And you got people who've never done it before, loaded,
Mhm.
doing it. It's like, it's insane. So I set people up for success right out of the gates.
I love that.
I know you can squat. I know you can deadlift. I know you can press because you do it every day. I'm just loading you on it and teaching you how to do it better so you don't get hurt. And it's great because when you do it every day, you start to build that muscle memory. So when you walk up to those groceries, right, you aren't going to walk up to those groceries and bend over at the back and pick them up. Hinge, you're going to grab them and you're going to properly lift them, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's been programmed in you. And that's my goal. My goal is to build better 40 plus folks. And the beauty is you can do it in 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a week.
I'm very intrigued. I definitely want to talk more about this offline for sure. That's awesome. So I hope you guys will check that out because, I mean, even if you didn't watch the previous episode, you've got to know by now, Christian is like one of my favorite people of all time. And I'll just say it out loud. It's okay. It's so funny though. This is what's really interesting is that the way I looked at you and thought about you and the way that I even presented myself in the first interview was like, I very much like idolized you. You know, I put you on a pedestal and idolized you. And I was really nervous during the first interview because in my eyes, you were like a celebrity, right? And that's cool and all, except you're just another human like everybody else, right? You're an exceptional human. I'll give you that. But at the end of the day, we're all just humans that struggle. And I think that's one of the things I've learned over the last 2 years since the last time I met you is just recognizing humans for who they are, you know, and that even the exceptional ones struggle and we can all learn from each other. We're all on a journey, all on a path. We all have different missions. And I don't idolize you anymore. Sorry to say, Christian, but I do admire you and you do inspire me and you always will. And so, and it's just crazy how people in my life, like there's a piece of everyone that I interview that has a piece of my heart, the ones that truly I connect with, that I carry with me everywhere I go. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you're one of those people. So I just really want to thank you for saying yes in the beginning, because you were one of the first quote unquote celebrities that ever said they would come on my podcast, which was it just blew me away that you said yes that first time. And then, you know, to reach out and get to hear your story 2 years later is it's pretty cool. It's a full circle moment for sure. For me.
Really, though, there's definitely some, like, I'm surprised more people that, you know, have, and again, I don't consider myself a celebrity, but someone that has been on national television. So there's been millions of eyeballs on them at a time. I'm just surprised that more people aren't more willing to, like, you can always tell when the selection airs in a new country, because I'll get all these Facebook messages from people, like if they're Japanese and like broken English, or, you know, if they're Australian, you know, they'll use word like, you know, that only Australians use.
Yeah.
You know, and so I'll know kind of, oh, that's funny. Like, oh, the selection just aired in India. And people will, you know, people are moved buy it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they'll tell me that, and I'll respond to them. And they're always so flabbergasted that it wasn't a celebrity Facebook page that like some PR company is managing for me.
Right.
No,
Right.
it's just me sitting on the couch flipping through my messages and like, oh, that's a pretty cool comment that person said. I'll comment back, it fills my cup too. Like, you know what I mean? Like I enjoy that engagement with people that I would have likely never met or known or heard from or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
well, and like every time that I want a new person on my show who's never heard of me, who I consider, I have like a big fish list. I call it a big fish list, the big fish. And I always feel like I have to appeal to them and like pitch, the idea to them of why they should come on the show, which makes sense, right? Especially if they're getting approached by a lot of people. But then on the other hand, I'm just like, I don't like the idea of selling myself, and it's so hard to communicate over digital, like text or email.
Oh, yeah.
And I've even thought about like just turning on the camera and recording something real quick so they can actually just see me and hear me, that I'm just a real person and I'm just like normal. And these are the reasons why I think you're excellent and you have a heart of service and I'd love to talk to you, and just leave it at that. But that's hard to communicate over email sometimes. And yeah, there's all these channels that gatekeepers that you have to go through sometimes with people, and it's just so frustrating. So yeah, it's just crazy. So, well, did we leave anything on the table? I did have a couple questions I wanted to ask you, but they're very like just personal about and they're just personal questions I wanted to ask you, and I think by asking them, maybe the other people that are watching might get something from it too. I don't know. So I made a goal of mine last year to compete in the tactical games. And the tactical games is shooting and fitness. And I've always looked up to people that could do it because I've always been a pretty good shooter, but to combine the fitness element of it was like sort of an identity crisis for me because I've never looked at myself as an athlete before. And, once I went through my own fitness journey and then went through that 10-mile run, which was a huge thing for me, there were just like these little markers along the way. They were like, I was preparing myself well. I had someone helping me out to train for the competition and stuff. And I ended up like checking that off my bucket list last year. And that was a huge, huge thing for me. But what I noticed was, and I wanted to ask you about this because I know you've had a lot of experience in competition and doing hard things, is first of all, I was forewarned that after the competition, I would likely have these really low lows afterwards, which ended up happening. And I was really surprised that actually happened because I would have never guessed it because I think I was on such a high from the competition. But that wasn't what bothered me as much as like a few months later, I just kind of like, I felt like a duck just kind of sitting in the water. Like I just felt lost. I'm still kind of in that mode where I'm just like, okay, I want to compete again next year. It's in July. But I'm going through the motions on the fitness and the health stuff, like with the nutrition, but I'm just feeling like not focused. I'm not like last year leading up to the competition, even starting in January, Christian, I was like locked in. I had a plan. I mean, I was just like dialed in. I was on a mission. And
who created your plan?
One of my friends, he's a fitness coach and a nutrition coach, and he helped me with that. And I met all of my goals. I mean, my body fat percentage goals, my muscle mass goals, and then my performance goals for the shooting and the fitness portion of it. I did pretty well. But then I just kind of lost momentum after that. Like, my goal for the winter was that I wanted to just eat in maintenance and gain muscle. And I have not really been doing very good at that. I feel like what's that?
I'm not good at giving myself rope. Excuse me. I'm not good at giving myself rope either. It's
it's dangerous, isn't it? It's dangerous. That's what I'm learning. And it just puts me in this like lost place mentally where I just don't feel the focus that I did before. I think maybe, do I just need to create like a new set of goals, or
I mean,
missed that
I don't know a lot about your exact circumstance, but you got to remember, you're talking to someone who started ultra running in 2007, and by 2017 had run over 100 ultra marathons.
Wow.
So the reason I don't say that to brag, I say that to say that my wife would tell me, you don't even bask in the glow of what you've just finished before you're looking for the next challenge.
Mm.
And that was, it took me a while to grasp what she meant by that and to live in the moment like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that addictive personalities, and I don't know if you have one, but I do. So addictive personalities, it doesn't matter what the drug of choice is. Doesn't matter if it's alcohol or sex or running, right? You get a certain feeling from it. So then you spend the rest of your time chasing that feeling again.
Well, I call that a God-sized hole. That's what that is.
What's that?
For me, that I've felt that before, of never being satisfied. And for me, before I came to Christ, that was what I called my God-sized hole.
That's really a great, you just made me get that in that statement. I didn't even realize that that's a lot of the relief that I feel right now in my walk, in my new walk. And I think that I explained it to you as I no longer fear consequence of my decisions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have said it in a different way. There's more along what you're saying, in that I no longer feel this need to be a certain something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't need to be known as the 100-mile guy. I don't need to be known as the selection guy. Yeah. I don't need to be known as this,
because your wholeness doesn't come from what you do. It's now from who you are, and you are his.
Or the external perception.
Yes, exactly. Right. Yeah. And so I don't feel like constantly not satisfied. I just have a really high drive. And I think God's given me that high drive, and I like to be focused and locked in, not because I feel like I'm nobody if I don't do that. It's just, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the pursuit of something,
Then I think and I don't know if this is terrible advice. Maybe people will go, oh, don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But if it were me and I was in this situation that you feel like you're in right now, the one thing I loved about the run across the United States was it just seemed completely insurmountable to me. The idea of running an ultra marathon every single day, 6 days a week for 5 months, just sounded impossible.
Yeah.
It sounded impossible. There is no way my body is going to hold up for that. There's no way. And that idea that I was taking on what I perceived to be the impossible drove me. So I would say that if possible, if you can think of, all right, you've already dipped your big toe into the event space. Mm-hmm. Now, what could you do that's even bigger? Just as an example, I don't even know, but do they have a 24-hour event?
They have a 2-day. That's the regional one.
So train for that.
Yeah.
And not only train for that, train to podium.
Are you kidding me? On my second year?
Yeah, train to podium.
That would cost a lot of money that I don't have. What's that?
Bear Bryant, I think it was Bear Bryant or one of the older football coaches. He used to say, and somebody can Google this and get the right person, but he used to say, strive for perfection and you'll achieve excellence. Strive for excellence, you only achieve good. Shoot really, really high.
You're saying I'm not dreaming big enough.
You're not dreaming big enough.
That's common for me.
It probably comes from self-esteem issues, right?
Yeah, it has in the past. Even the things I did last year, though, were oh my God, crazy. I felt like I was jumping off of a cliff. So I know I was growing. And then guess what? The end of this month, Christian, I got invited to speak at my first ever event. So that's a huge, get out of my comfort zone thing too. So I'm excited about that.
So train for the 2-day and train the podium. What do I ask? Ask the coach, ask other shooters, ask other athletes. The one thing that's awesome about, at least in ultra running or obstacle course racing, is that, and I would assume shooting's very similar, is that the best of the best are approachable.
Yeah.
And most likely if you reach out to them with a sincere request that, hey, could I pick your brain for 30 minutes? Would you be willing to talk to me about ways that I can get better?
Mm-hmm.
You do that with some of the best people. Not only are they going to respect you for that both the cojones to just step to them like that, but then also your honest willingness to get better, and you're proving that you want to get better. I think that people want to help people get better when they can. And I think that you would be doing them a favor in them finding that they could probably be good teachers, and you're going to learn a wealth of information, and it's going to give you that confidence that you need, that like, oh, I really could probably do this. I could probably stand on the podium.
Wow, I don't even know what that would take. I would have to wrap my brain around that. It's not so much like getting myself there physically. That's not what I'm scared of, as like the money and the traveling that would, like, could I do all the training here, or would I have to go to practices, or where would I have to go, and how much money would that, like, that's what I hate about life sometimes.
But that's the whole thing. That's the journey. You got to figure it out.
I know.
They figured it out. They didn't just spontaneously become amazing shooters and athletes. They put their mind to it. They got information and ideas and strategy from the best of the best. They didn't just spontaneously become great. And that you just got to put yourself on that path. You know, I think, have you, I mean, I don't know if you follow football, but have you followed college football at all this year? So Indiana is playing
other than Montana State. That's it.
Okay.
Because they won.
Yeah, they didn't do bad this year.
Yeah.
But Indiana is playing for the national championship. I believe they're going to beat Miami of Florida pretty significantly. And the reason being is because they have a quarterback, Mendoza, who I would argue is probably this close to being on the spectrum. Because he's so meticulous and he's such a planner, and he's the first one after a game to be sitting watching film of the team for the next game. He's the first one on the field practicing throwing the football around with other people. When he was he won the Heisman this year, and when he learned that he was going to be at the Heisman ceremony, he asked the committee to give him all the bios of all the other Heisman people that were going to be there, so that he could know them by name, greet them by name, shake their hand, and be able to talk with them about their individual accolades. What do you think that did for him? He was the star of the show when he got there. Think about it. Hey, John Blow, how are you? That was amazing what you did at Miami in 1987.
Wow.
I'm humbled by
doing your research. That's amazing. Yeah.
So, but it made me a huge fan of the guy. But also, when you watch him play, like in his most recent game, he threw more touchdowns than he did incompletions. He went 17 for 20, and he completed 17 passes out of 20, scored 5 touchdowns.
I'm going to want to watch this guy now.
It's going to be on Monday night.
Okay.
I think that you'll see that the announcers are in love with him. Yeah. Everybody's in love with him because he is he takes it very, very seriously, but all with a smile. You know, he's not like a Tom Brady, or, you know, he doesn't have this like arrogant chip on his shoulder. He's just this cool kid. Like, they'll put him at the end of games, they'll put him up with the announcers, and he talks like he's an announcer. He's just so articulate, and, you know, you forget these are kids.
Yeah, college kids. Wow.
Yeah. But I would, you might be impressed by him if you watch the game on Monday night.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get him on the show.
You probably could. I wouldn't. He's a Florida guy.
Is he?
Yep. He's from Miami originally.
Huh. I'll have to look into that. Wow. Well, that was a fun conversation. I just adore you. I just love having conversations with you. You're one of my favorites. And you don't even know. I mean, I told you at the beginning of the show how much you've influenced me in positive ways. I've watched the selection. I couldn't even tell you how many times. Like, it's kind of like I don't want to admit how many times I've watched it. And not because it's you necessarily, even though you're my favorite one. It's just that there's something about watching that struggle and seeing someone break through, and it's just like that feeling is so inspiring to me. I've always been that way. I think it's like the quintessential underdog story. I'm always a fan of the underdogs and the people that just don't have quit at all. And you epitomize that for me. So, yeah. Did we leave anything out? Is there anything you want to leave the audience with before we go?
No, man. Like I said, it's really important to me always to be authentic. It's really important for me to not frame these things. Like I feel like we just talked, and that to me has more value than, hey, in the first 15 minutes, let's talk about this, and then 15 to 20, we'll talk about this, and like that just seems weird to me. Like
I used to do that too. I've learned a lot on this show. I think I'm going into year 4 now. And
wow.
The me 4 years ago is a whole lot different than the me now. And I'm sure I'll be different even next year too, hopefully for the better.
I'm sure you will. I mean, I have to believe now, as I've always been impressed with my friends of faith, but now that I feel like I'm a bit in the club, for lack of a better term.
You seem more content to me, Christian.
Huh?
You seem more content to me. You really do.
I am more content, but I also I guess I already said it, but I see the reason to not fear. Like even something as cliche and simple as death. I was always like, man, if I don't believe, then I have to believe that everything just goes dark the day that I stop breathing. Mm-hmm. And now I feel so full. I feel so excited about the idea that, I can see all my friends again, and I can meet our deity, and I can be in this glory that everyone has talked about and that I fought against, because damn it, that can't be true. And and it's like it's so much easier. I think we said that in the very beginning. It's just so much easier to go.
Mm-hmm. I feel you, brother. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. This is just the beginning. This is your new, 3,000-mile run. Like, this is just the beginning, and don't be hard on yourself about it. Like, I remember the first prayer I ever prayed was, here I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to say the words, but what I learned was, like, he knows our hearts so well. And as long as, like, the heart is the most important part, and whatever is coming from our heart out of our mouths to him, as long as it's humble and grateful and thankful and honest, that's what matters. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I hope this isn't the last time I get to talk to you, but
it won't.
We'll see what happens in another couple of years, huh?
Or maybe not wait that long.
It's a wild ride. Yeah.
Depends on how many people I got to push out of the way to get on.
You're welcome on here anytime you want, man. You're like the OG at this point. Like, you're just in, man. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for your time again. Appreciate it.
You got it.